Hello, Stevie Coyle here. Friday noontime webcast, Lafayette, California, from Mighty Fine Guitars. Thanks for tuning in. Ho, ho, ho. And no, there are no commas in there at all. Welcome to the Friday noontime webcast. I've got one guitar to show you today, but first, as usual, let me make sure that the signal is going out and things are happening. Looks like it. Good. Very good, very good. We have light, we have sound, we have camera, action. I wonder if you remember, like I do, the Felix the Cat cartoons. And occasionally there was this little teeny character about this big called Vavoom. And he was teeny, but he'd shout Vavoom, and mountains would fall down and all kinds of stuff. This Collings guitar is kind of like that. It's an O size, style 2, so it's kind of fancy, but it's an O size, 13.5 inches or so across the lower bout. This is the size below a double O, which is the size of a classical guitar, if that's a good reference for you. In Martin parlance, even though this is a Collings guitar, it uses the Martin terminology, of course, like everybody does, where it's dreadnought is the big guys. There is a quadruple O. Then triple O and OM are about the same size. Then below triple O and OM are double O's, which are about the size of a classical guitar. This is an O, which is the size below that. And technically speaking, anything below this size is considered a parlor guitar. But for some people, a parlor guitar is anything smaller than a dreadnought. Did you get all that? Oh, good. Well, come on in. Hi, Jane. Come on in. The signal is signaling. That's what we want. And there are 3 other lurkers in the room now. No problem, because this webcast, as all these Friday noontime webcasts, TM, gets sent across to the Mighty Fine Guitars Facebook page, then to Instagram, and then on to the YouTube Stevie Coyle music channel, where things really start popping. Let me play you this thing, and I'll show you what I mean by Vavoom. It's this big. I'm 6'3 plus. So you can tell this is not a big guitar. It's very comfortable. It's a couch cuddler. It's a sofa sweetheart. But it shouldn't sound like that. That is really quite astonishing. Collings has outdone themselves with this one. I don't even want to move my left hand because I just want to hear that resonance. The G in the designation, this is an O2, a size O, style 2, herringbone, H, G for German spruce top. German spruce top and East Indian rosewood back and sides, primo stuff, beautifully made. Quality control at Collings is just ridiculous. I've told you the story before about how the band I was with was there. They had us play a bunch of guitars, and we said, "This is great. Why are we playing these?" And they said, "Well, we'd love for you guys to be playing these playing Collings on stage." As it turns out, no guitars lit us up that day particularly. And we said, "Well, you know, why these guitars in particular?" "Oh, there's something slightly wrong with each of these. These are seconds." And I was playing a herringbone guitar, a Collings, and I handed the guitar over to the fellow we were working with, Steve, at Collings. Steve McCrary is a saint, an angel. I said, "Steve, what's wrong with this one?" He looked at it, he said, "Oh yeah, that's right, this one. The one little arm of the herringbone is off axis." I said, "For that, you can't send this out?" He said, "Oh, no. Collings doesn't send out guitars that are less than perfect. Gnat's ass, you know, angels dancing on the head of a pin, perfect." I'm really kind of astonished. Can you tell? I'm astonished because this guitar shouldn't sound this big. It's a little guitar with a huge voice, Vavoom! Just like a Felix the Cat. Everybody. Nobody. Perfect. And I'm really kind of cutting it loose. I'm letting the bass notes fly just because it's so much fun. Normally, of course, for something like that, I might tend to mute the bass with what they call a palm mute, but it's not the palm of the hand, it's the heel of the hand. But there you go. 14 frets to the body, single O size, paddle headstock. Some slightly unusual things about this, but Collings knows how to make a guitar. And oh man, do they ever. I played a Collings for many years myself until the Precious came along and I needed to sell the Collings, but I played that guitar on stage for many years. It was a terrific guitar. Let me read you some specs here. It's an O size, which essentially means 13.5 inches across the lower bout. The critical factor, the critical figure, really, is the waist. And this has got a nice narrow waist, so it sits low in your lap, which is, when you're watching your Netflix or watching your sports, that's the critical thing. Nitro finish, German spruce top, pre-war scallop bracing, and tortoise-style pickguard, yep, indeed. East Indian rosewood back and sides with style backstrip. Beautiful. Nobody sees it but you know it's there when you're playing it. Mahogany neck with modified V profile. This is a very modified V. It feels very C-ish in the hand, but there's a little bit of V-ness in there to give you a little retro rush when guitars had a V in there, because that helped keep the neck straight before there were, excuse me, such marvelous things as truss rods. Ebony fingerboard, Miller pearl inlays, 20 frets, nickel silver, 1 3/4 bone nut, 1 3/4 up there, so there's plenty of real estate for you finger stylers out there. Drop-in bone saddle with 2 1/4 inch string spacing down here. This is for the nerds. Are you writing this down? You can go back and look at the video if you need all these specs. Ebony belly style bridge, Waverly nickel tuners. Comes with a case and everything. Comes with, as they used to say, comes with neck cord and plectrum. I'll throw in a plectrum. Doesn't tune itself. What a little beast. This is going to be in the high 4s. We haven't really priced it yet, but I'm guessing $4,750, $4,800, somewhere in there. Worth every cent. And as a former Collings owner myself, I stand behind this company. They're really solid folks. They're one of those companies out there that have kind of set out, along with Santa Cruz, are the two I always think of in the same mental breath, if you pardon that imagery. I think of them as kind of companies that are out there to outdo Martin, to out-Martin Martin. And in some cases, I think, and in a lot of cases, actually, I think they succeed. Because, you know, Martin is a big company. It's factory-made guitars, for the most part, still fabulous, still the progenitor of them all, still to which all of these guitars in here owe themselves in very large part. But a small company like Collings and Santa Cruz can pay attention to every last little detail, and they do. Everybody. Nobody. Totally comfy guitar to play. I'm just thinking, yeah, I could spend some time with this on the couch cuddling with my sofa sweetheart. This guitar kind of proves the point, as well as any of the guitars in here, that a small guitar doesn't have to sound small. There are several in here that are small and that sound small and have that kind of antique sort of smallish sound. And there are others, this among them, that roar despite their small physiognomy. And yes, I can spell that. Let me check and see who's here. Hi, Hugh. Hey, Steve Wilton. Steve Wilson, good to see you. That was really fun the other night. Thanks for coming to the final Quitters show. That was a gas. Hi, Keith. There you are. Larry Pattis. No width. Nut width. Oh, yeah, Larry. 1 3/4 here and at the nut, and 2 1/4 string spacing down here. Oh, it's great. It's yeah, Jane. It's the perspective of this wide angle that I've got on the camera here. The wide angle lens that I've got on there. 1 3/4, nothing fancy. And while it's technically a modified V neck, it feels very C-ish in the hand. It doesn't have that kind of sharp, pokey thing that a real solid, full old-time V neck has. You know. Hey, John Reynolds. Good to see you. Very good. Who else we got here? Bob McKenna. Golly, the whole crowd is here. Great. Happy Halls to everybody, all of you, wherever you are. Oh, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and for those of you watching elsewhere, here's a little Christmas gift from our house to yours. It's nothing we did, but we watch it every couple of years. If you have not yet seen, it's on Amazon at the moment, Amazon Prime. If you have not yet seen Dickensian, oh, Joe Bob says check it out. It's really great. Marley is dead, but who done it? It's a murder mystery that involves not just the characters from A Christmas Carol, but from all kinds of other Dickens stories, all mashed together into London at the same time for the same few days, trying to figure out who murdered Marley. As I play that, I'm reminded of one little thing for you guitar players out there. I used to play, and you're all sworn to secrecy on this. You never heard it from me. I started off fingerpicking playing banjo, which means these two fingers get perched on the top of the banjo, and these two fingers, this is for bluegrass style banjo, out of that big black Scruggs book that daunted so many of us. These two fingers get perched on the top, and these two fingers do the picking, and the thumb does its thing. I played that way for the longest time, and then I discovered that, you can't really play that last song I played, Stealin', the way I hear Kotke doing it, unless you kind of parse these fingers out across the top three strings. So the index finger takes the G string, the third string, middle finger takes the B string, second string, ring finger takes that high string, so that this finger, your first finger, can kind of idle there on the third fret. Instead of, it's being able to have that thing idle there. And the way I think of it, and when I teach this, and I do give lessons, by the way, when I teach this, I sort of think of that note being the intake of breath. Hang on a second, let me explain myself here. I think really good guitar playing sounds vocal, sounds like somebody singing, sounds like a human being could sing it. You can't exhale the whole time, despite what some shredders would have you think. There's got to be an intake of breath. There has to be something human about it. And that's what I hear is this first finger idling on the third string is kind of the intake before you hear the intentional note. It's kind of a less intentional, passive sort of note that lives down inside there. So if I didn't use my first finger for that passage, for that first A phrase of Stealin' by Kotke, right there, you can throw it in there as pardon me. Sorry you had to hear that. And let me count through how many times I use my first finger, not using my first finger, as I would in the subsequent version of this. There's one. There's two. There's three. Kind of four, 3.5 or 4. But the way I play it, because of the way I adjusted it, and adjusted to 3 finger picking instead of 2 finger picking, and there are people that do this with 1 finger. Doc Watson played with 1 finger. Merle Travis, 1 finger and a thumb for all that cool stuff they did. It's not to say you have to do this. Simplifies things to have 3 fingers assigned to 3 strings. Then I don't have to worry about what finger's going to get what. But the second version would be, there I've used that third string 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't even keep track. So, an idea for those of you that are finger picking with 2 fingers, see if you can stretch out and assign these 3 fingers to the top 3 strings and make use of that third string. It's kind of low enough in pitch to not be intrusive to the melody, which in that case, and something in the key of C, is probably going to live on the top 2 strings, on strings B and E, strings 1 and 2. Your mileage may vary. Totally aware of that. Well, I tell you what, somebody come in and buy this. Make me sad. Because I'm going to be sad when this guitar sells. It's just fantastic. It's really wonderful. And it's not the only fabulous guitar in the shop, because next week I'll be featuring the John Datlin The Tree OM Cutaway. Astonishing guitars as well. As you know, I have the best job in the world. I sit here working on the pile of email that is my life. And people walk in the door wanting to sell these fabulous guitars. For whatever reason, ABC, they're not playing these guitars. They say, I'm blowing my karma, let's sell. So we do. This one is going to be kind of $47.50. For the moment, let's just say $47.50. Worth every cent. It looks brand new. The person that owns it currently has taken fabulous care of it. It's a sweetheart. The case is pristine as well. It's like buying a new guitar that's been broken in a bit and sounds fabulous. You know the thing about playing a guitar, and this is the thing with Collings, is they get better over time. They certainly do. So consider this. This is as bad as that guitar is ever going to sound. It's only going to get better from there, and it's got a great head start. It's a fabulous guitar already, and nearly new. I have to check out the serial numbers on it. Collings is a little bit more complicated. They don't publish. I'll send in the serial number and find out what year it is, but I suspect it's only a few years old. And again, as I say, low mileage and already fabulous. So I'll check out your... Hi, Bunny Barnes. Folks, while you're online here at 1 o'clock California time in a mere 40 minutes, tune into Bunny Barnes', I think, Bunny, is that right? Are you going to do your Friday thing at 1 o'clock Pacific time? Very good. Yeah, Bunny. Here's a Collings parlor. Now, technically speaking, this is a size above parlor. Parlors are size 1s and 2s, but parlor guitar, sure. Technically, a parlor is anything smaller than an O, and this is an O. Hi, Michael Propsom. Fabulous guitar builder as well. We've got some of his roarers in here as well. All right, then. Keep those fan cards and letters coming, folks, and I'll get to your comments and questions. Like I said, I'm going to pop this over to the Mighty Fine Guitars Facebook presence, then on to Instagram, and then on to the Stevie Coyle music channel where things really get hopping. Great to see you. Happy holidays. All that stuff. Hang tough. The light is coming back starting on December 22nd there. So the days are dark at the moment. Hang tough. Hang on to each other. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All them other holidays included in there, please. And I'll see you down the road. All right. So long, folks. Ta-ta.